In this episode, guys, we go deep into procrastination and how you guys can recognize it, see it coming, stop it from raping and pillaging your time and your life, okay? Also, if any of you guys listening right now are a perfectionist, this episode will give you goosebumps.
The big question is this: how did I buy over 200 properties and build a multi-million pound property business, then lose my wife, lose my children, lose my home, lose my businesses, and lose my liberty, when I was sentenced to nearly 5 years in prison for a crime committed by a lifelong friend, then leave prison with no home, no income, in £175,000 of debt, and then find the courage to start over and build a successful business, now doing $500,000 in revenue in the last 12 months. Now, this podcast will give you those exact tactics, those exact strategies, and the answers.
Okay, so how I have to battle with myself literally to get things done. Okay, guys. If you're watching right now, I'm sitting in the back of my car. It's a dress down day. Is it a Wednesday? It's a Tuesday. It's not a Tuesday. It's a Wednesday. Sorry, I had the children yesterday. It's a Wednesday. I'm in Brighton. We're looking at properties. We're training staff. We're in meetings, etc. I'm literally sitting here in the car now, in between meetings, etc. And I'm just filming or recording this podcast, this episode, this YouTube, this vlog, this video clip, wherever you see it online, this particular content. I'm just sitting in the car right now in between. So that's why I've got the hat on. It's a dress down day, viewing properties, training staff, etc, etc. And the children, it's half term, the children were with me. They just went back yesterday, so dress down, jeans, jacket, shirt, hat. That's how we're doing it. So how I have to battle with myself to get things done. Okay, now this is about procrastination, guys. It's something that many of us struggle with. So many of you guys listening right now struggle with. And what I found is not many people want to admit this. Okay, I think it does come as or under the remit or part of the ripple of a form of mental health. Okay, now lots of people suffer with mental health challenges, you know, on the spectrum of something quite small from something along the lines of an OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, where you may do some things that seem normal to yourself, but other people might think, you're absolutely crazy by doing this. It could be something along the lines of, well, let me tell you a little story, actually. Something that I used to do a long time ago, probably when I was about 18 to 21 years old, somewhere around there, around 18 to 21 years old. There used to be this particular place that I would go past in a vehicle, okay? It was actually in a vehicle back then, which was a work vehicle, like a tradesman vehicle, where I was being driven on the way to a job or the way back from a job. It used to be the way back. That's correct, I remember. Because I used to come up and over the hill, and as I came up and over the hill, it was just on the right-hand side, and the sign was outside, and the grass and the place where it is, etc. And I still remember the name now, 20, 22, 23 years on. And I still remember the thing that I used to do, which is actually an OCD, which I found out later. Back then, at the time, probably somewhere around late 90s, I would say it would have been. Wasn't really aware, it wasn't really public knowledge, it wasn't really common knowledge, etc., for these things to be in the public eye and for everyone to know exactly what they are, which is OCDs, obsessive compulsive disorders, or mild mental health things, or mental health comes under mental health. We don't need to say mild mental health, it comes under mental health. However we look at it, however we try to avoid it or try and dress it up in a different way, it comes under mental health. Now, we used to come up and over the brow of this hill, and there used to be a golf club, I remember very clearly now, on the right hand side. Now, as we came over the hill and saw the sign, I had this obsessive compulsive disorder that something in my mind, there was a trigger that said to me, if I don't do this one thing now 3 times, okay, I was just checking the mic, I thought I was falling inside my shirt. If I don't do this one thing 3 times right now, I'm going to get the worst bad luck, the worst things are going to happen to me, it's going to be terrible, I'm not going to get the thing I wanted to get, which might have been something I'm working towards, or maybe there was a deal on the table, or a mortgage application I was looking to get, or maybe it was a meeting I wanted to attend. I was only young, but there were still goals and aspirations and things I was doing, and, I was working for a better life back then. So the thing that had me back then was saying a particular saying 3 times. Now, right now, it seems absolutely crazy. Like, other people would look out or look in from the outside and be like, I used to say it to myself, obviously, not out loud, or I would say it very quietly, mutter it under my voice so other people wouldn't hear me, and there was always people around, okay? Even when I went past there recently, I actually did the same thing. It just came back to me like that, the trigger, and I did it as a little fun thing, and I also did it for a little bit of old good luck as well. So yeah, it still got me all of this time later, and I've never really done it since whenever that was, in the late 90s, and now we're in 2020. But it was a little fun thing, and I just thought I'm going to do it anyway. So before I go on and on and on, it was called Windmill Hill Place Golf and Tennis Academy. Okay, so it's a bit of a tongue twister. Windmill Hill Place Golf and Tennis Academy. So what I had to do was, every time I saw the sign, I had to immediately say it 3 times. And it went something along the lines like this: Windmill Hill Place Tennis and Golf Academy. Windmill Hill Place Golf and Tennis Academy. Windmill Hill Place Golf and Tennis Academy. So saying it out loud now makes me think that's madness. Anybody who heard me saying it out loud back then would think that's madness and there's something wrong with me. And anybody I tell this story to, most of them are like, excuse me, oh my God, that's crazy, that's so funny. And then they would say something along the lines of, you never guess what I used to do. And they would used to do something or something similar, and it may have been, I've heard many stories in the past, at the time you keep it to yourself, you keep yourself closed, and you don't want anybody to know these things because you see them as flaws, or you see them as weaknesses, which they aren't. Lots of people have them. Many of you guys listening right now have them. Many guys who haven't got them right now may have them in the future, or maybe you had them in your past, okay? So lots and lots and lots of people, whoever they are, wherever they are, whatever country they're from, whatever color their skin is, whatever life experience they may have had, it affects everybody at every level. So don't be on your own, or, feel ashamed or something if you're holding this deep inside yourself thinking, oh my God, I can't tell anybody. This is, I'm crazy, okay? So, I think it's much better to get things out there in the public domain. Go all in, no messing around, just telling your friends or your family, in the public domain. Because then it helps you, or it's helped me by coming out with certain things to do with what's happened in my past or where I've been, which any of you guys will know if you follow this content anywhere on social or the podcast, etc. You will know that I spent some time in prison for a crime that was committed by somebody else, which wasn't me, a lifelong friend. And I spent quite a long time in prison. I lost everything, lost my family, lost my children, lost my wife, lost my home, lost my property businesses. I had 12 staff, I had a Porsche 911 Carrera C2S, my dream car, not just a stupid, like a Lamborghini today. I had this in my early 20s, and it all came crashing down around me, cut a long story short, because a crime that somebody else committed, which was a lifelong friend at the time, okay? They were a lifelong friend, okay? So yeah, I've found that it's been much better for me in my life to get these things off my chest and get them out there so people know them, which does open you up to be or to being judged by other people. But when you don't care, when you get to that stage where you've changed your mindset, where you don't care about what other people think of you, and when you don't care about being judged, life does get easier. It definitely has got better for me, and I'm sure it will get better for all of you guys listening right now that maybe have a secret or something you don't want to tell anybody. And when you get that secret out, obviously you are vulnerable, but by being vulnerable, it helps with building relationships and connecting with people quicker, faster, at a much deeper level, which I've found. And you probably hear me talking about this in another one of my podcasts, or another episode where I went to a meeting I was at shortly after I came out of custody. This was actually not shortly after, it was after I came out of custody, sorry, this particular meeting. And I wasn't sure until the person sat down at the table in front of me, and I had a gasp of my drink while I was thinking quickly to decide, do I tell them the truth for this brand new relationship, or do I conceal some things about my past, which is to do with hiding the fact I've been in prison, to work with them, to do business with them, but then ultimately that just limits me, or limits how far I could go. Okay, so I decided then to tell them the truth like that, which was just my truth, my secret, and something that was very, very personal and raw and emotional to me, which was that part of my life, which has happened now and is in the past, where I was, taken off to prison, and I lost everything, and I spent, nearly 5 years in some of the worst UK prisons with, some of the most high-profile criminals in England, to be honest, and that wasn't a good time in my life. But getting back on track, because it stirs up lots of emotions and things like that, so I could talk here for hours to you guys. But getting back on track, it helped me, and I'm sure it will help you guys by, if you have any of these insecurities, etc., or you have any of these things that you're concealing or holding back from the world, I learned by bringing them out in the open, putting them in the public domain, going all in, no half measures. It helped me, and we've done a hell of a lot of business with that one particular relationship, that one particular person, just based on going all in, being vulnerable, putting it all out there so they can see, and letting them decide. Now, most people, they're just interested in the truth, okay? And when you've actually said your side of the story, it turns out to be a massive weight lifted off your shoulder. So anyway, back on track, because I'm going off on a tangent here and I could talk for hours about this. Now, talking about obviously the mental health side, which is me having the OCD to say Windmill Hill Place Golf and Tennis Academy 3 times in a row, which gave me good luck. Other people that I've spoken to, when I've told them that story or spent time with them, and they've got confidence, etc., and they've been honest and open and telling me things, have said that they had an OCD, which was the light switch OCD. When they go into their bedroom or, into a room or leave a room, etc., they have to turn the light like this. Oh, it's off because we've been sitting here for a while. Okay, it's not coming on. They have to turn the light on, then off, then on, then off, then on, then off, to get it on, or to get it off, the opposite way. So whatever they're doing, it's like, to get the light on, they've got to turn it off, on, off, on, off, on 3 times. And maybe when they're going to bed at the end of the night, at the end of the day, they have to turn the light, which is already on, to off, to on, to off, to on, to off, on, off, on, off. Something like that, which seems madness, but it's so funny, okay? Now, these things are on the scale of mental health. So going back to mental health, we're talking about procrastination. Now, I have to battle with this thing, I would say, every single day of my life, okay? I cannot remember a day now that I could tell you guys on this day, on this date, etc., I wasn't procrastinating, because it's more or less every single day of my life affecting me. So I know it affects lots of other people. I know it's very popular and very common, and it holds lots of people back, and it hinders lots of people, and it's raping their time and pillaging their time and stealing time from their life, their family, holding them back from earning more money or achieving whatever goals it is that they want to achieve, okay? Because it's like you're sitting at your desk, or you just know the things that need to be done. You know them. They're all here. There's a massive list in your mind. There may even be a list in front of me that I'm looking at. There's a list in front of me at the same time. And I know this is urgent. This is crucial. This is not important. This can wait, but these things have to be done today, and maybe have to be done in the next few hours, etc., because they all have a knock-on effect, okay? Now, there's something inside me, or inside all of us, which holds us back. It's like it's pulling us to the dark side, or pulling us to the bad side, or holding us back from thriving and growing and going forwards and doing the things that we need to do, from little tasks to massive achievements, okay? Now, I can find myself, which many of you guys can relate to here, spending, I don't know, an hour doing something, spending maybe a week of doing other things, and maybe even sometimes you look back at the end of the month, or even the end of the quarter, 3 months, or even 6 months, and you can look back and say to yourself, I had these goals all the way back then. 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months has passed, and I still haven't achieved those goals. Why is that? And that's the battle that we have in our mind with procrastination. Okay, guys? Now, I would say for me, it definitely has something to do with when I was at school. Because when I was at school, I was used to getting away with things, okay? Now, this is putting things off, delaying things, getting away with things, moving deadlines, pushing deadlines back, moving goalposts back, and everything else, and putting all of the effort, all of the time, all of the thought process, all of the energy, which is negative, just to delay things, move the goalposts, move things back, because I believe for me, it made me form bad habits back then. It made me, as a person, form bad habits back then. So I wasn't disciplined back then in school, and always being an entrepreneur, working for myself, building companies, structuring deals, doing property deals, running different types of businesses. I never had anybody in that sense above me that could give me the rules, or give me their habits, or give me the framework. I was always learning, doing, making mistakes, and then trying to do better. So hands-on, practical, learning the best way to do these things. But what I discovered about myself is I was a massive procrastinator. Now, I can be doing something and then go off on a tangent. You could be distracted. It could be the keyboard. It could be the phone call. It could be an email. It could be, it's never Netflix or anything like that. That's not really for me. It could be something more fun that has more excitement attached to it than dealing with the task in hand. And we're all guilty of this in some way, form, shape or another, because some things come with pleasure and pain. And obviously, as a human being, we want to avoid the pain and experience as much of the pleasure as we can. So when it comes to, there's this task or job or essay or document or contract or something that needs to be done, put together, which causes us some pain initially to get it done, and the time invested and the thinking, or maybe it's a problem that we haven't unraveled and we need to sit down and work through this problem that's facing us or challenge, it can be a lot easier at times just to do the easier thing, which is read the email, pick the phone up, read the newspaper, make the phone call, go on social media, do some research, have a look at a new car or a new phone or whatever else you're into, or go out and do something fun, or go to the gym, or it could be anything else that gives you immediate pleasure instead of the immediate pain, which most of us want to avoid. And we can find ourselves deep in this black hole of procrastination, just sinking, just going further and further and further and further and further down. And before you know it, the hour's gone, you've missed the deadline. The day's gone, you've missed the deadline. The week's gone, you've missed the deadline. The month has gone, you've definitely missed the deadline. 3 months or even 6 months, or some people a year or many years has gone by. They had these great ideas, they got the potential, they've got the knowledge, but they just haven't executed. That little shift, they just haven't executed.
Let me jump in real quick. For all of the entrepreneurs listening right now, I know you're looking for strategies and tactics to increase your income, maybe even to get you out of that 9 to 5 that you hate, so you get to spend more time with your family. I get that. And I want to be responsible for helping all of you guys achieve that. So I want to give you a free gift, which is a copy of my ebook. It's called The Ryan Otto Rent Arbitrage Machine. Now, it's a training manual that I had my team create, which takes you through the exact steps that I took after spending nearly 5 years in prison for a crime committed by a lifelong friend, to then start over from £175,000 in debt with no money, no list, and no help. Now, what I share in this ebook is single-handedly responsible for turning every £1,000 of rent that I paid to a landlord into £3,000 of income every single month in my business. Now that leaves me with a gross profit of around £2,000 per calendar month for every property that I can go and rent from a landlord. Right now, I'm giving away this ebook. It's 100% free. All you need to do to get a copy is subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already, leave a 5-star review, and email a screen print of that review to my team at teamryan@theybuyanyhome.com, and we'll get a copy of the Rent Arbitrage Machine to you guys.
And again, that comes down to procrastination, that thing that many of us have, which is in our mind, but there is a way to train it. There is a way to avoid it. There is a way to overcome it, so you can stop being, raped and pillaged of your time and energy and focus, okay, guys? And that's what we're here now for, because many of you guys here can be laser focused. I know that, because for me, I can be up here laser focused where nothing can get in the way. And then something seeps in, and something else, and something else, and something else, and something else. Maybe the avoidance strategy we spoke about earlier, something else, and then we're just deep in an ocean of procrastination. Okay, guys? Now, I also feel that it comes down to a bit of self-sabotage for me personally. Because I can easily know what I need to do, have a massive focus, laser focus, start the project, start the task, but then start to drift away, okay, guys? Now, this is normally what I've found. I'm self-sabotaging because there's other mental health things in the way, like things in my past, which everyone has a past, everyone is happy about certain things, everyone is unhappy about certain things that have happened or about to happen. Everyone has anxiety over things in the past or in the present or about to happen in the future. And that's just us. We're all human beings and nobody's perfect. So one big milestone in my life, which I also think and feel that my procrastination now as an adult, not before when I was younger, now is linked to or part of being in prison, being in custody. And the main thing is about that, not me as a person, not me myself being in prison and thinking about what that means to me, because I'm resilient, I'm strong, I'm mentally strong, I can adapt to any situation I'm in, from being in prison and living with the worst company you can imagine, some of the worst and high profile and dangerous criminals and rapists and pedophiles and murderers, and some a serial killer that I came across, Ian McKay, the devil's disciple. They made a documentary about him, and I had to share a bathroom with him, share a toilet with him, on the wing, not in the same cell, and be locked in the unit with him. And that was my, however you call it, neighbours, in that sense, for a period of time while I was in custody. And that's just how it is in there. So I can adapt to any situation I'm in, from dealing with some of the worst, highest profile, dangerous, violent criminals in jail, for a very long time, navigating through that minefield, all the way up to dealing with a very good friend of mine, a former billionaire. So I'm adaptable to lots of different situations. Now, what I know is that situation of being in prison, being in custody, it meant for me that, when I think about it now, it gives me goosebumps, because it's mainly my children which I think about when I think about prison, and what I lost. And losing my liberty is a terrible thing for anybody, but not being there for my children as a father, having 3 children, an older son. Well, he's older now, but I mean, back then he wasn't. He was around 11 years old. I mean, having a son that needed me around, having a daughter that also needed me around, and having another son, a smaller son, which wasn't really that aware of what was going on at the time. But when you spend nearly 5 years away from them, it all takes its toll on them, and obviously myself inside. So yeah, that does affect me every day in my life. And I would say right now, as an adult, my procrastination probably goes back to a bit of self-sabotage, where I feel guilty for that period of my life, just the aspect of not being there physically for my children. I was there financially, I was there on the phone every day, I was there mentally, I was there spiritually, I was there still seeing them, with the visits, etc., which are very limited and very tough. Excuse me. But what I mean is the turmoil and the tragedy and the heartache and the pain and the emotions and the challenges and everything else, by me being taken away. So I would say my self-sabotage is probably linked to a little bit of that self-destruction, which turns into procrastination for me, all linked to that event in my life where I feel guilty about it for my children. Now, that makes me feel better telling you guys here on this podcast, which goes out to, however many thousands of people it goes out to, and, it stays there as a digital asset, and more people over time will see this, hear this, listen to this, watch this, relate to this, like this, hate this, and judge me for this. But, I mean, it makes me feel better that I can share this experience with you guys, and some of you guys may relate to it. Okay, it gives me goosebumps right now, if you could see, just talking about these things. So let's talk about some ways that I've learned that I can avoid procrastination. And some of you guys can relate to this, or it may give you some ideas of how you can avoid procrastination. Now, for me, the ways that I've found to minimize, I've been doing it today as well, guys, as it happens, and I try and adapt this every day. But today I've done something different, which has really helped. So I've decided, or I've recognized a pattern a long time ago, which is working from home. When you're working from home, no matter how good you think it's going to be for your partner, for your wife, for your children, or whoever you have in your household, however good you think it's going to be, I'm going to work from home today, I'm going to see the children, they're going to be here playing, or we're going to have lunch together, and I'm going to have breakfast with my partner or my wife, and then we're going to just pop out to the park or something, or to lunch for an hour, then I'm going to come back and do some work and take some phone calls and this and write some notes, etc., etc. When I've found that I'm working from home in that sense, you can never really be focused at that deeper level, because you could sit there from the morning and try to do the thing you need to do, whether it's writing something, whether it's planning something, whether it's structuring something, whether it's making phone calls, whether it's organizing, whether it's researching, whatever it tends to be. I have found personally that when I have those other distractions around me, even though my mind is, however the shift is, the percentage of it here on the task in hand, and then the other percentage, listening as like the third eye, etc., and watching the children or your family and sort of being involved in the conversation a bit. So every now and again you're like, all right, darling, or yes, son, or yeah, I was listening, and at the same time you're working on your laptop and focusing on what you need to do, and those things just cause conflict. What I've learned is that's just a total waste of time. A total waste of time. When you're trying to focus on doing something, anything with work, you're trying to work at home thinking it's a good thing for your family or your friends or your children or your loved one, your partner, your wife, etc., your husband, it tends to be taking time away from them. Because what tends to happen is you'll find at the end of the day, what you thought you could do in 2 hours has taken you a whole day, and you haven't really actually been there for your children, your family, your wife, your loved one, your husband, etc., because you've taken 10 times as long because you've been procrastinating. So for me, I found that I will only work at home in the house if nobody else is home. Even the sitting upstairs or downstairs or in the home office, unless you have it very structured where nobody comes in, nobody knocks the door, nobody interrupts you, etc. But then if you do that, there is no point being at home saying you're spending the day with your family or working from home, so you can juggle both, okay? It's a very good idea, but in reality, I don't know anyone yet that I've met that can balance those two things and still be highly productive, okay? To perform at the highest level with those multiple things going on. So now I completely go out, okay? At the office, at the internet cafe, at the nice hotel, wherever I like to spend my time, okay? So for working, so you're in the zone and you're working, so you're focused on what you need to do without the distractions. The next thing is the other distractions, the common distractions that I found that have to be eliminated. Every time I pick the odd phone call up, which isn't super urgent, every time I just have a glance at the email and then find myself looking at something else and something else and something else, or reading something that has already been typed and sent that I might have typed and sent, or my executive assistant has typed it and sent it and I've been copied in and I'm looking at it and I know what's in there because I've dictated it, etc., but I still want to read it. Nothing good comes from having those distractions. Nothing good at all. So social media is closed. LinkedIn, of course, is closed. My emails are closed, so no bing, boom, notification, so I don't even look over at a glance to be distracted. They're closed. The phone is on flight mode or do not disturb mode, so it goes to answer phone if anything. Or it's on silent and it's not even vibrating. So I'm looking at it to see who it is when it's on silent, so it doesn't disturb me, but now it's vibrating. Now I've turned it up or turned it over. I'm looking at it. I can see the person, and now I have to waste time and energy on thinking about, am I going to get the phone call? Shall I, send them to voicemail? Shall I just send a quick message now? Shall I click the button and say, sorry, I can't talk right now, etc., etc. So all of those distractions have to be taken away and eliminated. All of them. Just get rid of them, okay? Because it doesn't work. Now, I've also found that I like a noisy place or a very quiet place. Now, there's two different reasons for wanting a noisy place or a quiet place. Now, for me, it's obviously different to you guys, But for you guys, it's obviously going to be different, whatever you prefer. But sometimes I find I need loud music in my earpods, very loud, some upbeat, high-tempo music, which keeps me going, keeps me focused, and it sort of takes me to a place of noise, which I enjoy. The noise, it's music I like, probably dance music or something. It takes me back to, my days of clubbing in Brighton, under the promenade, the Zap Club and the Honey Club and the Beachcomber and everything else in Brighton, again at the end of the 90s. Okay, so it brings me back to those days. So it's a bit noisy to start, but then it gets to the point of, it sort of puts me into like a trance. So like a form of meditation, I would say. So some of you guys can relate to this. So it's like a form of meditation, kind of like a little trance where it enables me to just completely switch off from the outside world. So now I don't know anything that's going on or what's happening. I'm just focused. It's just a deeper level of focus is what I'm trying to get at. So now I'm focused and I've gone through the barrier, like through the glass wall or through the glass ceiling. So now I'm in this other quiet, clear, completely silent place where everything is like limitless, where you're in that zone. You know the film Limitless, where Bradley Cooper, he gets the special concoction for those pills, which I think is just called Ritalin now, which was for ADHD. And lots of people use it, business people use it to get to that extra level of consciousness or deeper level of thought and productivity, etc. Not saying that I condone anything to do with drugs. Very bad, whether they're supposed to be to help you in your life or etc. Just make sure you go and see a doctor, okay? I'm not condoning any of that. I'm just saying I'm aware of that, okay, guys? Now, that's a disclaimer there. Now, it's like Limitless, where he has this drug and it helps him access these extra parts of his mind and deeper levels, and he's smarter, he's sharper, he's quicker, he can do more, he's more productive, etc., etc. Now that's where I get when I get through that barrier of listening to music. Like the level might be here, the music is up and up, and then boom, it takes me through and I just keep going to a higher or deeper level. So that works for me, the noise in the earpods, especially if I'm in a busy, distracting place. The noise, which cancels out the noise. It's weird because I put more noise on or in my ears to get away from the noise. Seems a bit weird, but I'm not sure if any of you guys enjoy that or learn like that or like to, get focused like that, but it definitely works for me. The other way is to find a very, very calming, quiet place where you can, gather your thoughts. You can, get to that deeper level of thinking and having no distractions as well. Okay, so it can be the very, very opposite quiet place. What I've also found is somewhere that gives me inspiration. So going somewhere that gives me inspiration completely stops my procrastination. That's probably my number one tip. If there was one thing that you guys, or I had to tell you guys, or you asked me, what's the one thing that you'd suggest? For me, personally, it is that one thing. Going to a place that inspires me the most and fills me with emotion, positive emotion, fills me with energy, and it's like having a shot of adrenaline. For me personally, it's the Saatchi Gallery in Sloane Square in London. I love the Saatchi Gallery. It's completely free. You can go in there more or less whenever you want and have a look around at all the different inspirational, creative rooms with different themes and cultures from everything and anything you can think of, okay? And it's in Sloane Square. It's in London. It's a beautiful art gallery, and it's just full of creativity everywhere. And I can just feel it when I'm looking at the paintings or the posters or the displays or the scenery they've created or anything they've constructed, or even reading a piece of something that somebody's written or somebody's translated, okay? So it's all art, and that for me is when I find myself procrastinating for a while and I need something just to restart my engine, when I need that something to inspire me for that deeper level to get going again, like pick me up or pull me out of this deep sea or this ocean or the sinking sand that I'm sinking in of procrastination. When I notice it, that's where I go. Saatchi Gallery, in London, Sloane Square. It's completely free, you guys. You should head down there yourselves if you like that sort of thing, and just reading some of those things that people have created, looking at the art that they've created. I mean, just reading the words which they've written on the wall or a piece of paper, or what it says about the piece that you're looking at. That alone just opens my mind to the next level, a very, very deep level. It's just uplifting, it's inspiring, it's confidence building. It's a massive wake up call for me. Like, Ryan, pull yourself together, sort your shit out. This much time's gone by, you haven't made any progress, you know what you need to do. Anything and everything is possible. Now just go and get your shit together and go and make it happen, okay? So that really works for me, okay? And maybe some of you guys should try that out. Or something else, another space, a creative space, inspiring space that has a similar effect on you, your mind, and inspires you to that level, okay? Just to get things done, okay, guys? Now, something else is making or taking notes and writing notes, like to-do lists, in my device, on my device, in my MacBook, on my phone, because it tends to disappear. It's great at the time, but then it tends to disappear into like a cave, a deep, dark cave that I can never really find again. It's like a digital desert. It's like a digital burial ground where I can never ever find those files, find those ideas, find those action points, find those notes, find those things I was supposed to be doing or done. And that alone is a way for me to procrastinate, because I write it at the time, knowing full well I'm going to struggle to find it. When I go to find it, I can spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, even an hour, or it could be over a few days where I still have not found that particular thing that I wrote. And it always tends to remind me that that thing I need so much, I've put it on this massive pedestal, so I'm laser focused on trying to find that one document, which probably doesn't contain the secret or the answer I'm looking for, maybe a bit of help, but I've put it up on this pedestal, thinking that that is the answer. So nothing else happens. So I don't do anything else at all apart from waste time, waste energy, waste my resources. My time is being raped and pillaged just because I'm looking for this one particular document. And when I find it a day later, a week later, a month later, it hasn't even got the answer. It hasn't even got the answer. It may have been helpful at the time, but I just put it up on this pedestal, and it's another way for me to procrastinate. So just watch out for that trigger, guys. I hope you don't have the same or suffer with the same things as me, but that's been a terrible thing. So that's a hack for you guys. So now I've got a journal. I bought Brendan Brouchard's planner. It's the high performance planner from Brendan Brouchard. It's not expensive. It's probably about £15 for an A4 booklet. Now, it's got some fantastic things in this journal, which is a scoring system. It looks at where you are now when you open the journal, where you want to be. Everything's scored. You can set daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, targets. It gives you some not inspirational quotes. They're a load of crap. It gives you inspirational things and tasks that you need to do. For example, I've got it next to me right now, actually. It will say, actually get it out. Let me just give you an example. Okay, so this is my new planner, which helps me avoid procrastination. Okay, for example, it's dark now because I'm just sitting outside here. So it's, for example, if I go to, let me have a look. So I'm off the daily pages. Okay, today, so morning mindset. This is very, very helpful. So this is a one thing that I'd want you guys to get. I don't get any affiliate commissions or any payment or anything, and there's no, there's nothing coming back to me here, but I really enjoy this. It's something that I've found, which is the one thing, it's the unlock for me to avoid procrastination. By getting things documented in a journal, okay? Now, this journal is fantastic. It has today's messages to myself, which are pre-written for me to just fill in the blanks, or you as well. It's £15, guys. And this is the answer to my procrastination, okay, guys? So this has been the unlock for me recently, and since I've had this, I've been performing at a much higher level. I've been organized. I've been firing lots and lots of work to my team of people, and obviously going from here where we were to here with workload, efficiency, time management, anti-procrastination, getting things done, booking in bigger projects, taking on bigger guests, taking on bigger clients, having more time, more freedom, more focus, and it's all down to this book, okay, which is just a journal. For example, morning mindset. The one thing I can get excited about today, mine was recording 3 more podcast episodes, okay? If one word could describe the kind of person I want to be today, then that word would be, and the reason why I chose it is, calm and organized. Okay, guys? Now, someone who needs me on my A game today is, and you would obviously put that person in there, a situation that might stress me out and trip me up today could be, and you would obviously fill in the blanks there. And this has got your day structured in 30-minute slots all day, guys. Now, this is fantastic. And then you have notes section. Then you have a review section for you to review tasks that have to be done today. You'd put in there as priority. Then you have today's top 3 priorities, things that have to be done. Okay, guys. And then you have people that you need to lead today. Okay, it's just fantastic. And then you have a review section, which is the daily habit scorecard. You score yourself every day how you performed. If you're looking for the one thing to unlock procrastination, guys, I, as a procrastinator for many years through my life, still doing it now, or up to now, this has enabled me to recognize it, to find it, to see it, to eliminate it, to lock it away, to get on and just get it out the way and just push through the hurdles and, go through the barriers, which are all in our minds. Okay, guys? So if there's one thing that I would say to you guys is, if you can eliminate procrastination with any of the other ways that I've shared with you guys today. Otherwise, invest in one of these. It's £15. Give it a go. Start to work from one of these daily planners and then see how that will change how your day's structured, how you get tasks done, how you avoid procrastination, how you can see it come in, and how you can, sidestep it, how you can stop it raping and pillaging your time, your life, your resources, because I think you get some huge value from this, guys. So what I'd like you to do is, obviously now this episode's come to an end, is I'd like you guys to literally let me know in the comments below, or wherever you see this on social, or email my team. I'd like you guys to let me know how you have found your own ways to break out of that prison of procrastination. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Put it in the comments below. Reply to this wherever you see it on social. Send me a private DM on social if you want, just with the title procrastination, etc. If you don't want to post it publicly, that's entirely up to you. But I would love to hear your thoughts.
Hey podcasters, I really appreciate every single one of you listening to my show. And I guess you're getting value from it, which is why you're listening in the first place. So please, please, please do share this podcast, share this show with anybody that you think will benefit from listening to my content. Now, because I understand the value of shouting you out or shouting your company out or even putting you on the show, if you subscribe, leave a 5-star review, I will shout you out or your business on the next show.